the headlines, we said we were going to tell you why infrastructural deficit is setting up many pupils and indeed students all over the country for failure. Here are excerpts of our latest Hotline documentary, Set Up to Fail.
Boss, sit down.
But some things need to be said and can you let it out to the basket? I will get into this.
That's how school ended that day.
One day you go be, one day you go be. But when one day will come, one day you go be, one day you go be. But when one day will come, they say the only time parliamentarians they agree is when they talk about raising their own salary. One day you go be, one day you go be. But when one day will come.
I go back to Chinderi SDA Primary School, where pupils earlier prayed to God to stop the rain. I find some of the pupils trapped in the classrooms. This time, the thatch roof only strains the heavy downpour, but confines the pupils to a section of the classroom. Ofosu Emmanuel, who prayed against the rains earlier, is disappointed.
What I feel right now is we couldn't learn at all. I can say we couldn't learn at all because we have to learn 8 subjects today, but we learned only 2 of them. We didn't even finish the second subject or the topic. We didn't finish, and it started raining, so we have to close. We closed. Continuous like this, I can't think we can finish, and we can't pass very well. Because if you don't know something, you can't explain it, so we cannot finish it.
So those are excerpts of Set Up to Fail. The man who did that documentary, Jojo Kobna, is in the studio with me. Hi.
Hello, Gipsy.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
You already have a gray in your beard. Let's talk a bit about Set Up to Fail. At the end of the documentary, anybody who takes their time to watch, what are you expecting for them to take home or do?
I expect, number one, government to provide the money for such communities, because we have that community alone, the Krachi and Chimuri district alone, has about 56 schools in that condition. And recently, I remember the education minister came up with a figure that many schools across the country, they want to undertake major rehabilitation. That is 8,000 schools. It's a lot. And so I want government to first take responsibility, and I also want development partners to actually go to those areas, because we have so many areas like that where children miss out on education because of very poor infrastructure. And the video that you just saw, where we actually went there and experienced how rural people feel when it rains. When it rains, they have to run home, and what happens? All the subjects, all the lessons are cut short, and they are expected to learn. I mean, write the same examination just as people in the urban
better
centers
or advanced schools are taking.
Urban centers with very good infrastructure, and so it is a huge discrimination, and I feel that a step towards equality will be that we'll get them very good infrastructure so they can stay in class for longer hours.
I see. What should we expect in the story? I mean, we've seen excerpts of it. We've seen children running away when it starts to rain, and I'm wondering, you just got there with your camera, and it's like, I mean, if you had told the story without the rain, I don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, because at the end of the day, school had to close. But then we got compelling visuals to show people the kind of things that these children go through anytime it rains. So what should we expect in this documentary this evening?
You should expect children P5, primary 5, not able to spell very simple words. It's heartbreaking. They don't know. It was touching, because you can see how the community come together. They
put
together
their children
they put,
in the school.
they put the children in school. They put together a structure. The wind doesn't, the wind blows the structure away, or something happens there, the structures collapse. And then they also get teachers, because Ghana Education Service is not giving them enough teachers. So from primary 1 to 6, you find only 2 teachers. So teachers would have to bring primary 1, 2, 3 together, and then put 4, 5, 6 together so they can teach. You find out that the chalkboards, classes share. Pupils will wait for their turn, and so when the teacher finishes, and then they carry it to the next class, and then lessons go on. There are so many things to
so
respect.
many things. Tell us the time when this is airing and why people should make the time to actually watch.
It's airing at 6:30, and people should watch this because it sort of depicts the inequalities that we have on the educational
system, especially when we're talking about free SHS.
Especially when you're talking about free SHS. I like the angle. Many of these pupils will not even pass to even enjoy the free SHS, because we interviewed the district chief executive and then the education director, and he said, well, our pupils, sometimes we can't even place them. Why can't we place them? We can't place them because of poor infrastructure, because of no teachers,
they don't do
inadequate,
well,
they don't do well.
Okay.
And so for pupils to benefit from this particular program, that is the free SHS, we must improve the quality. And
the education at the basic level, so it then qualifies them to be at the senior high school. Jojo, thank you very much. We look forward to that documentary. Jojo Kovner there with the documentary Set Up to Fail, and it's airing at 6:30 today here on the Joy News channel. Do make a date, and don't feel depressed yet, because there's so much that you can do. When you watch it and you get angry, you begin to have a conversation about this situation. You're still watching The Pulse. We'll be right back.